My grandma Betty lived to be 95 years old, and until the last day of her life, she could thread a needle without glasses. She could read the newspaper without magnification. She could drive at night with no problems, at 95. Meanwhile, I was already wearing reading glasses at 52. My brother had cataract surgery at 67, and my cousin needed anti-VEGF injections for wet macular degeneration at 70. So what did Grandma Betty know that we don't? What did she do that protected her vision for almost a century? The answer surprised me, and it'll probably surprise you too, because it wasn't carrots, it wasn't blueberries, it wasn't any of the modern superfoods that we spend fortunes buying. It was something she ate every day, something that cost pennies, something that our generation has completely forgotten. And when I discovered what it was, and started eating the same way she did, my vision changed in ways that I didn't think were possible anymore at 68. But before I tell you what this food is, you need to understand why our grandmothers had better vision than we do. Why women and men who lived before 1960 rarely needed cataract surgery. Why macular degeneration was considered rare until the 80s. It wasn't genetics. It wasn't because they lived shorter lives. People who reached 60 in the 1940s often lived into their 80s or 90s, and they got there with intact vision. The difference was diet. Our grandmothers ate parts of animals that we throw away. They ate organs. They ate offal. And these foods contained the highest concentrations of nutrients that protect the eyes. It wasn't a coincidence that my grandma Betty had perfect vision. It was biochemistry. The specific food that she ate 3 to 4 times a week contains 24 times more vitamin A than carrots. It contains lutein and zeaxanthin in forms that your body absorbs 5 times better than spinach. It contains a compound that researchers at Harvard University discovered reverses the opacification of lens proteins, the same process that causes cataracts. And it contains such high levels of a specific fatty acid that eye doctors at the Mayo Clinic call it the forgotten nutrient for macular degeneration. That food is chicken liver. I know what you're thinking. Liver? Really? Yes. Exactly that. And if you've spent the last 10 minutes making a face, you need to hear what I'm about to tell you now, because the science behind this is so solid that it'll make you reconsider everything you've been told about eye health. At 63, my eye doctor told me that I had bilateral grade 2 cataracts, not critical yet, but progressing. He said in 2 or 3 years, we'll need to operate. I had halos around lights at night. I had difficulty reading street signs. And I was using eye drops for eye pressure that was rising, 19, 20, sometimes 21. My doctor was worried about open-angle glaucoma. And then, cleaning out my grandmother's house after she passed away, I found her recipe box, yellowed, stained, handwritten pages, and there, circled in red, was her recipe for chicken liver, with a note beside it, "Eat every Tuesday and Friday, for Grandpa's eyes." My grandfather, who lived to 91, also had perfect vision. Coincidence? I thought so, until I started researching. Until I discovered that chicken liver contains exactly the nutrients that studies from Harvard, Mayo Clinic, the National Eye Institute, and Johns Hopkins have identified as protective against cataracts, macular degeneration, and glaucoma. So I decided to test it. 3 times a week, I started making my grandmother's recipe. 100 grams of organic chicken liver, sautéed in extra virgin olive oil, with onion and garlic, eaten at night, 2 hours before bed. First and second week, nothing. Third week, I started to notice that the halos around the lights were smaller. Fourth week, I was able to read a street sign that I normally couldn't at night. Fifth week, my wife commented, "You're driving with more confidence at night." On the 6th week, I went back to the eye doctor for a routine eye pressure check. The nurse measured again, called the doctor. My pressure had dropped from 20 to 16, in both eyes. The doctor asked, "Have you changed anything?" I told him about the liver. He laughed and said, "Well, keep doing what you're doing." On the 12th week, 3 months after starting, I had a complete cataract exam. The eye doctor looked at the results, looked at me, looked at the results again, and said something that I'll never forget. "Your cataracts have not progressed. In fact, the left eye has regressed from grade 2 to grade 1. I have never seen that happen without surgery. He had never seen it, but my grandmother knew. She didn't have a medical degree. She hadn't read scientific studies. She simply knew, the way our grandmothers knew, that certain foods did certain things, and liver did things for the eyes. Now here's where it gets interesting. Chicken liver contains retinol, not beta-carotene, which is what you find in carrots, and that your body needs to convert to vitamin A. Retinol is preformed vitamin A. It's the active form that your eye uses directly. And here's the critical point. As you age, your ability to convert beta-carotene to retinol drops dramatically. At 60, you convert only 20 to 30% of what you converted at 20. That means you can eat carrots all day long and still be deficient in active vitamin A. But when you eat chicken liver, you get retinol directly. No conversion needed. Bioavailability of 90 to 95%. Chicken liver also contains lutein and zeaxanthin in a form bound to phospholipids, and this binding increases absorption by 300 to 400% compared to vegetables. This was documented in a 2019 study published in the Journal of Nutrition. Researchers fed 2 groups the same amount of lutein. One group received it from spinach. The other group received it from chicken liver. The liver group had blood levels 3.7 times higher, 3.7 times of the same nutrient. Why this dramatic difference? Because lutein is fat-soluble. It needs fat to be absorbed. And liver comes packaged with the right fats, in the right proportions, with the right cofactors. It's as if nature had already created the perfect formulation. And when you eat liver, you're getting that complete formulation, not isolated nutrients in a pill, but the entire food matrix that your eyes recognize and absorb with maximum efficiency. And then there's arachidonic acid. Now, you've probably heard that arachidonic acid is bad, that it causes inflammation, and in excess, especially from poor quality sources. It can, but in moderate amounts from high quality sources like organic liver. Arachidonic acid is essential for retinal health. It's a structural component of the photoreceptor cell membranes, the cells that capture light. And a 2020 study from the Mayo Clinic showed that people with macular degeneration have 30 to 40% lower levels of arachidonic acid in their retinas than people without macular degeneration. Your eyes need it, but you can't get it from plants. You can only get it from animal products. And liver is one of the best concentrated sources available. Chicken liver also contains taurine, which protects the nerve cells of the optic nerve. And 2018 research published in the Journal of Neurochemistry showed that taurine prevents the death of retinal ganglion cells, the type of cell that dies in glaucoma. When your eye pressure dropped from 20 to 16, it was partly because the taurine was protecting the optic nerve, reducing oxidative stress, improving the drainage of the aqueous humor. And there's more. Liver contains choline, folate in the active form, vitamin B12, copper, and zinc. In the right proportions. Chicken liver isn't just a food, it's a natural pharmacy for your eyes. Now, let me tell you what happened after 6 months of eating liver 3 times a week. My left cataract regressed from grade 2 to grade 1. Documented. My right cataract stabilized at grade 2. My eye pressure stayed between 14 and 16, and at 9 months, I stopped using eye drops completely. My pressure stayed at 15, without medication. But the most dramatic change was in something I wasn't even paying attention to. My night vision. Remember, I used to avoid driving at night. Gone. Simply gone. I drive at night now, without thinking twice. And here's the thing. I'm not special. What happened to me can happen to you. Your eyes need the same nutrients as mine. And if you're not getting those nutrients, your eyes are starving. And supplements don't work the same way. For years, I took lutein supplements. I took vitamin A in capsule form. And none of that did what 3 months of chicken liver did. Because isolated nutrients don't have the cofactors. They don't have the food matrix. Now, before I tell you exactly how to eat liver for your eyes, I need to address the fears you're probably having. Fear number 1, liver is toxic. Wrong. The liver does not store toxins. The liver processes toxins. What the liver does store are nutrients. Vitamins, minerals. The solution is to buy organic, pasture-raised chicken liver, and when you do that, you're getting one of the cleanest and most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Fear. Number 2, liver will raise my cholesterol. Your doctor is repeating nutritional guidelines from the 1970s that have been debunked. Dietary cholesterol has minimal impact on blood cholesterol for 90% of people. When I started eating liver 3 times a week, my total cholesterol dropped from 230 to 205. My HDL went up. My triglycerides fell from 180 to 120. Eating liver improved my lipid profile. Fear number 3, liver tastes awful. You're eating it wrong. Chicken liver sarm, when prepared correctly, is mild, creamy, slightly sweet. And if you make Grandma Betty's recipe, it's delicious, and you don't have to eat 300 grams. 100 grams, 3 times a week, is sufficient. Now, let me tell you about 2 other people who did this. First, my brother Kevin. He had cataract surgery on his left eye. His right eye was at grade 2, scheduled for surgery 6 months later. I convinced him to try liver. For 3 months, he ate liver 3 times a week. Went back for his pre-op exam. The cataract in his right eye had regressed from grade 2 to grade 1. The eye doctor cancelled the surgery. That was 2 years ago. He still hasn't had surgery on his right eye, a savings of $3,500. Second person, my neighbor Susan, 74 years old, dry macular degeneration, drusen in both eyes, vision 20/80 in the left eye, 2100 in the right. She was taking AREDS 2 supplements, those giant yellow pills that cost $40 a month, taking them for 3 years with no improvement. The condition was slowly progressing. I told her about liver. She's Italian, from the old school, so she didn't have the squeamishness that modern Americans have. Her nonna used to make liver with sage, with real butter, so she started eating chicken liver the traditional way, 3 times a week. 6 months later, she went back for an OCT scan, the optical coherence tomography image that shows the structure of the retina in detail. The drusen, those yellowish deposits that accumulate under the retina in macular degeneration, had diminished, not dramatically, but measurably diminished. Her eye doctor was perplexed. He said he'd never seen drusen regress without anti-VEGF injections, and she didn't even have the wet type. It was dry. Dry macular degeneration supposedly doesn't regress. It only stabilizes at best. But her eyes didn't read the textbooks. They just reacted to the nutrition they were finally receiving. I'm not saying that chicken liver cures cataracts. I'm not saying that it reverses macular degeneration in all cases. What I am saying is that your eyes need specific nutrients. And if you're over 60 and eating a standard American diet, you're probably not getting those nutrients. Grandma Betty lived to 95 with perfect vision. She didn't have magic genes. She simply ate the foods that protected her eyes, and the number one food was chicken liver. Now you know her secret, and you have a choice. You can keep doing what you're doing, or you can give your eyes the nutrition they're begging for. And here's exactly how to do it. First, buy organic chicken liver. You'll find it in natural health markets, in specialty butcher shops. If you can't find it fresh, buy it frozen. Second, you're going to eat 100 to 150 grams 3 times a week: Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Choose the days that work and be consistent. Third, prepare it the right way. Here's Grandma Betty's exact recipe. Okay, let's talk about the magic recipe. 3½ ounces of chicken liver washed, dried, and cut into medium-sized pieces. Heat 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil in a skillet over medium heat. Don't use high heat. Medium heat is key. Add half an onion, thinly sliced. Cook until it's caramelized, about 5 to 7 minutes. The onion should become golden brown and sweet. This draws out any bitterness from the liver. Next, add 2 cloves of minced garlic. Cook for about a minute until it's fragrant. Be careful not to burn it. Burnt garlic is bitter and nobody wants that. Now gently add the liver pieces. Season with sea salt, freshly ground black pepper, and a pinch of thyme or rosemary. Cook for 3 to 4 minutes on each side. You want the liver cooked through, but still slightly pink in the center. Don't overcook it. Overcooked liver becomes tough and loses valuable nutrients. Add a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar or lemon juice at the end. Give it a quick stir. This little addition of acidity balances the richness of the liver. Take it off the heat. Serve it over whole wheat toast, on top of a bed of mixed greens, or with roasted vegetables like sweet potatoes or broccoli, and eat it in the evening, preferably 2 hours before bedtime. Why? Because your eyes do most of their regenerating and repairing during deep sleep. You want those nutrients circulating in your bloodstream, readily available for retinal absorption during that overnight repair process. Fourth, be patient. If you do this consistently, 3 times a week, for 12 weeks, you will start to notice changes. Weeks 1 and 2, you probably won't notice anything. Weeks 3 and 4, expect subtle improvements in your night vision. Weeks 5 through 8, reading becomes easier, and you'll experience less eye fatigue. Weeks 9 to 12, you should start noticing changes that your eye doctor can even document. And if you continue beyond 12 weeks, the benefits just keep compounding. At 6 months, your cataracts might regress. Your macular degeneration might stabilize. Your eye pressure might normalize. You might even avoid surgery altogether, potentially saving thousands of dollars and maintaining your independence. Fifth, combine liver with other foods that are great for your eyes. Add real eggs, the whole yolk included. Add fatty fish, wild-caught salmon, and sardines. Add dark leafy greens cooked with healthy fats. Eliminate or reduce refined sugar, processed vegetable oils, and ultra-processed foods. Inflammation is the enemy of eye health. And here's the truth. You've just been given information that most people will never know. Information that could save you thousands of dollars in surgeries. Information that could preserve your vision for decades. This isn't information you're likely to find in a typical doctor's office, because doctors are primarily trained to prescribe medications and perform surgeries, not to teach ancestral nutrition. You can't patent a whole food, can you? You can't create a recurring business model around it. The cataract surgery industry is worth billions of dollars per year. The eye supplement industry is worth millions, and you're telling me a $3 serving of liver can compete with that? Absolutely it can, but nobody's going to tell you. Nobody except people like me who've discovered it, experimented with it, and have seen the results. And that's why I'm asking. If you found this video useful, if this information could literally save your vision, or the vision of someone you love, please consider leaving a super thanks down below. That little golden heart. When you click on it, you're not just supporting me financially. You're saying, this information matters. This kind of content needs to exist. The democratization of knowledge about health needs to continue. And you're helping to ensure that more videos like this get made. Be part of this mission. Every super thanks counts. Now let me give you a few additional details. First, eat it in the evening, 2 hours before bedtime. You want your digestion to be in the absorption phase when you lie down, and when you sleep, your liver metabolizes those nutrients, your eyes absorb them, and nighttime repair happens with abundant raw materials. Second, don't overcook the liver. 3 to 4 minutes per side on medium heat is sufficient. If you cook it for 10, 15 minutes, you destroy some of the heat-sensitive nutrients. Third, combine it with vitamin C. Drink a glass of water with fresh lemon juice, or finish the dish with a squeeze of lemon. Vitamin C increases iron absorption by up to 300%, and iron is essential for transporting oxygen to the retina. Fourth, if you really can't stomach eating liver, there's an alternative. Desiccated liver capsules. Brands like Ancestral Supplements make freeze-dried liver in capsules. You take 6 to 8 capsules a day. It's not as good as fresh liver, but it's better than doing nothing. Fifth, monitor your results. Get regular eye exams. If you have cataracts, ask for a progression exam every 3 to 6 months. If you have elevated eye pressure, monitor it monthly. If you have macular degeneration, get an OCT scan every 6 months. Document your progress. And when you see objective improvement, you'll know it's not just the placebo effect. Now let me be very clear. I'm not saying that liver replaces medical treatment. This content is educational, not medical advice. You should always consult your eye doctor before making any changes. Don't discontinue medications without medical guidance. Don't ignore serious symptoms like sudden vision loss, flashes of light, a dark curtain in your vision, or intense eye pain. Those are emergencies. But within that context of responsible care, nutrition matters, and chicken liver can be one of the most powerful tools you have to protect your vision. So here's the complete protocol summarized. The Liver for Vision Protocol. Frequency, 3 times per week on alternating days. Quantity, 3.5 to 5 ounces of organic chicken liver per serving. Preparation, sauté in extra virgin olive oil with caramelized onion, garlic, sea salt, black peppers and herbs. Cook 3 to 4 minutes per side until slightly pink in the center. Finish with lemon or balsamic vinegar. Timing, eat in the evening, 2 hours before bedtime. Combinations, pair with foods rich in vitamin C. Combine with eggs, wild-caught fatty fish, and dark leafy greens cooked with healthy fats. Avoid refined sugar, processed vegetable oils, and ultra-processed food. Expectations, weeks 1 to 2, no changes. Weeks 3 to 4, subtle improvements in night vision. Weeks 5 to 8, easier reading, more vibrant colors. Weeks 9 to 12, changes that eye exams can document. 6 months to a year, potential regression of cataracts, stabilization of macular degeneration, and normalization of eye pressure. Monitoring, regular eye exams with an ophthalmologist every 3 to 6 months. That's the protocol. Simple, ancestral, and based on modern science, and proven by generations of people who lived to ripe old ages with their vision perfectly intact. Grandma Betty didn't know about retinol, lutein, or zeaxanthin. She just knew that liver was good for your eyes. Wisdom passed down from grandmother to mother, from mother to daughter for generations, and we've dismissed this wisdom as superstition, as unscientific. But now, science is catching up. Now, we're publishing studies that confirm what our grandmothers always knew, and it's time we stop dismissing ancestral knowledge and start integrating it with modern knowledge. Because when you do that, you have something powerful. You have the key to aging with your vision intact, to see your grandchildren grow, to read until you're 90, to drive until you're 95, to maintain your independence. And it all starts with a choice. The choice to honor your grandmother's wisdom, the choice to eat a humble food that modernity has forgotten, the choice to nourish your eyes the way they were meant to be nourished. Grandma Betty made that choice every single day for 70 years and lived to 95 with perfect vision. I've made that choice for the past 3 years, and at 68, my vision is better than it was at 63. And you? Are you going to make that choice? Now, tell me in the comments, did your grandmother or grandfather have excellent vision well into old age? What did they eat? What traditional foods did they value? Let's share this generational wisdom. Write it down below. And if you're willing to try the liver protocol for the next 12 weeks, write commitment in the comments. I want to see how many people have the courage to try something different. Let's create a community of people who refuse to accept visual decline as inevitable. Write commitment now.